This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wherever you heard me. I was talking to AJ off the air, and the first segment, something to be very, very positive about, a recommendation. And then we're going to talk about watching TV for about 10 minutes this morning. And I have had enough. I will tell you that. They have worn me out with this, but I'll get to that after Now, the positive part of it, as we start out the show, Catherine and I went to dinner last night.
What sort of restaurant?
It's an Italian restaurant. It's phenomenal. There's no question. And what the hell's the name of it again?
I feel like I could place a wager on every time you guys go out. And I just always take Italian food.
It's always Italian food.
I'm the green.
It's only when Catherine gets a vote. I do things like, let's go to the lettuce hut. No, I'm good. I'm not going to the lettuce hut. Okay, forget it. But it's a great place. Hey, Catherine. She's pretending not to hear me. What the hell's the name of the restaurant? I'll find it out from her. That'll be good. But in any case, went to dinner last night. The manager, Paulie, is a great... Yeah, wait, hold on a second. Let me find out the name. Otherwise, Paulie will be all pissed off at me.
Of course.
Hold on. I'll be right back.
Why wouldn't it be? Paulie and Jimmy in the back kitchen. You got Tony out front, big Tony out front running the door, of course.
Somebody named Tiny who's actually huge. Yeah. They've all got like gold rings and Adidas tracksuits on. While he's out figuring that out, there is, and speaking of restaurants, have you heard the restaurant in Norfolk it's a pizza place that's charging $125 for pineapple to add onto your pizza because they don't want people to do it?
Yeah, Judd decided he's going to do the show now. What are you laughing about?
We can tell you after the. I don't want to derail your story, but we can talk about it after.
I want to come back to that because that's hilarious.
Okay, so it is good news because we're going to get to the harsh part sooner or later.
Okay,
I have had enough. Not of this story.
Oh, okay.
The next story.
Okay.
I've tried to be patient because I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican. I'm kind of stuck in the middle. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where the hell we are going to go because both sides have lost their minds. It's like, oh, my God, you people are disgusting. But let's get to the good part first. Lenora. There are, I think, 5 or 6 of them all over the place. But went last night. Phenomenal food. I had the fettuccine bolognese, which is, oh, God. It was wonderful. Paulie, the manager, came over. Yeah, Javon was our server. Let me say this, did a great job, very pleasant. I don't know that I'd want to piss Javon off because he's kind of put together pretty solidly. That's all I'm saying. But, yeah, to Paulie, Javon, everybody at the restaurant, just fantastic food, very, very pleasant people. I would highly recommend it if you get a chance. And there are, like I said, I think 6 or 7 of them now throughout the state, something like that. And it's always nice to pass along a positive experience like that. There was not one thing wrong with anything, and our food was fantastic. Service was great. Paulie, just a great guy anyway. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, little tip-off. As you're traveling around, if you run into a place called Lenora, definitely go. It's really, really good.
Nice.
Now, part 2 of the beginning of Wednesday's show. I made a huge mistake this morning because I went out for a walk and I got my walk and I got back early. So what did I do? The stupid mistake of tuning in the news.
Oh.
I can't take these people anymore. You childish, money-grubbing, ugh. And, is it true that half that the Democrats didn't show up for some big big deal yesterday?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm on the KSTP website getting some news stories ready when Chris gets on, and half of the, I guess, meeting room, auditorium, wherever they're at, completely empty. Yeah. So half of somebody didn't show up.
Okay, so tell me how that's serving the people. Because you don't agree with it. You decide not to come. You get all your pain-in-the-ass buddies to agree with you. And I don't care if it's a Democrat or Republican side pulling out. You serve the people. Get off your ass. Get your head out of your ass and serve the people, not your own special needs. God, these people are disgusting. I just don't understand. Why would you want to do that?
This is a very confusing situation. Here, what I've gathered is that there was like a secondary election or something that got delayed. So a Democrat is set to take a certain seat, but it's delayed from all the other ones. So as of right now, it's 67-67.
No, it's 68-67, I think.
I think it'll make it 68-67.
I thought it was 69-67.
Well, I know yesterday Republicans had a 67-0 like vote because they swore in.
Yeah. It looks like somebody has
which I guess
67-66 advantage.
Yeah,
there's an advantage.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, and you need 68 votes to have a majority in the Minnesota House or whatever it is. But this election that is delayed is set to have a Democrat. But their argument is the Republicans want to take advantage of what should inevitably be a 50-50 split.
That's not true in the least. The guy was not even from the right district. That's why he was not allowed to run. He didn't even live there. They tried to pull off a scam. It blew up in their face, like both of these parties do. Look, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm not defending anybody. These people are the biggest pigs I have ever seen at a city level, state level, federal level. You people are disgusting. Ugh. It's all about money. Everything's about money. Oh, I gotta make money. And they lie, nonstop lying. Look, I'll give you another example of where I'm stuck in the middle. I know Pete Hegseth. I've met Pete Hegseth. I don't like Pete Hegseth. I think he's an arrogant little prick. I really do.
Based on some of the clips I saw yesterday, not a lot of people like him either.
Well, I mean, but that's not even the issue. The issue here is just because he's a Republican or just because they're a Democrat, you don't all of a sudden just kiss their ass at high noon.
Right.
I don't like him, and I don't like a lot of the people in the guy that really made me want to just puke was Jimmy Kimmel. Oh God, I hate him. Unfunny. Ugh. But he's on. Did you see him on TV last night?
No, I haven't watched a late night show.
Yeah, I think the last one was his LA.
Good move. I'm gonna do my impression now of Jimmy Kimmel last night.
Okay.
You know what else happened? I hope it all comes together because. Stop the ass kissing, Jimmy. You suck at your job. Your ratings are terrible because you suck. So you can come on there and pretend to support the Democratic Party, and you can pretend I'm here to defend the people. You're there to make money, and you're horrible at your job. So go away. Late night TV is just about over anyway, isn't it? Nobody watches it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like late night TV is in a weird spot because nobody really watches it live, but the clips on social media do huge numbers. And so I think they make more of their money somehow doing that rather than the live part of it.
But it's all going away. When's the last time you watched one of those shows live?
Oh, never.
Never.
Like probably years.
Yeah,
me too.
Sat down and it's one of those, maybe like it comes on after the news, and so I catch the monologue.
Right. Yeah.
But the last one I think I made an appointment to sit down and watch was Conan's final one when he was retiring, and that was his final show. That was the last.
I could see that.
Yeah, or if there was somebody that I knew personally that was going to be on, like from my days at the House of Comedy, comedians on, or if like AJ's going to be on, okay, let's sit down and watch just his segment, not the whole show, just his.
I would avoid it completely if AJ was going to be on. I'd make sure I didn't watch it then. But no, I woke up this morning, I see all this stuff, and I'm like, you people are making other people very sad, very angry, very uncomfortable, so you can make more money. You pigs. Ugh. They're disgusting, all of them. Republicans, Democrats, all of you people, you're the most disgusting people on earth because you're in it for the money. You know, they showed that highlight again, and this is exactly what I'm talking about with the all-star wrestling, because I do think a lot of this has to do with professional wrestling style.
Yeah.
Okay, I know we're having lunch together, and I came to your house, and then you came to my house last weekend. We're good buddies. But when we go on TV, I'll put you in an arm bar, and then you give me the what was that? The claw. You give me the
mandible claw.
The mandible claw. It's, ladies and gentlemen, it's bullshit. The first thing you want to see this morning was Jimmy Carter's funeral, and I did admire Jimmy Carter. Not the greatest president ever. but I loved the guy. I didn't ever meet him in person, talked to him on the phone a couple times. You could not meet a nicer guy. Just a very, very sweetheart of a guy. And we haven't had one of those in quite some time now. And God bless them. I think it's wonderful. They're at Jimmy Carter's funeral. And who's sitting side by side? You got Trump, you got Obama. They're laughing it up, patting each other on the back, shaking. Hey, how you doing? But yeah,
W's
totally different.
Stomach taps.
Yeah, which they should be. Look, there is one guy in the market that did a morning show against me that just went, oh, it's just terrible. Oh, my God, I can't take it. Well, as you know, K-Fan, many people on the K-Fan morning show are good friends of mine. Meat Sauce I've known since he was 16 years old, for Christ's sake. They're good guys. I really like those guys. Same situation at the Hubbard stations. I don't happen to like those guys just because we work for the same company or with the same company. They're good guys. You know, I just, men and women I'm talking about here. I appreciate that. The one prick of them all was it, I don't even remember the guy's name. Is it KD? What the hell's his name?
Kevin
He's a little fella.
Wait, KD is in KDWB?
Yeah.
Dave Ryan.
Oh, what a pleasant guy he is. Again, he's about 4'1", but a tough guy on the phone, huh? I mean, not to me, but I just, why people, look, I had a 40 share. That station now has a 0.1 share. There are 3 people responsible for that in management over at, and I keep forgetting the name of the company because it's a piece of shit. What's it called again? Cumulus. There you go. I just move on. Move to other things. Get it done. You don't like it, then go somewhere else. But I am really sick to death of people driving the proletariat crazy by lying to them on national TV. These people don't hate one another. I guarantee you the people in the House got together and said, okay, you're a Republican, I'm a Democrat, so we're not going to show up at all, and then you guys pretend like you're really pissed off that we're not there, and then it's all-star wrestling. It's got nothing to do with helping the people.
Yeah, it's all for show. It's like the Jerry Springer show back in the day.
Yes.
They just released a documentary about that on Netflix, and they were like, the producers told them, like, hey, if you don't fight, nobody's going to watch, and then you're not going to, like, be famous, or we're not going to have a good show, so you have to fight, otherwise you can't come on the show. Like, that's essentially what we're all boiled down to.
Yeah. So let me put it this way. So last night I had a great dinner at Lenora's. Paulie, Javon, just wonderful, laughing, joking, just having a great time, all the rest of it. I'm married to a woman I love more every year. We've been together for 44, almost 45 years. I love her more every day. Our children, our grandchildren, our friends, some of my coworkers, not all of them, but that's what I care about. I don't care about your bullshit. Oh, we put a line here and you can't cross it. It's like, oh, settle down. What'd you get beat up in grade school? Is that what happened? It's gotten to the point I just can't take it anymore. The lying, and then this is, oh my God, it's a disaster. It's not a disaster. Calm down. We got through one Trump. We got through one Biden. There's another Trump now. Who knows what's up next? We'll get through it, folks. They're going to steal our money. I can promise you that. They're politicians. They steal money like a son of a bitch, and they're going to do that anyway. But don't let them get under your skin like this. It just was so embarrassing watching that this morning. So I got, a great dinner last night to talk about, recommended, so please follow that advice. But I just had to finally, kind of chirp in and say, I have had enough of the lying, scummy stuff that's going on. Like I told you before, I don't like Pete Hegseth, but I think he's being treated like dirt. Does he deserve it? I don't know. I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. You guys do what you guys do. They're not my kind of people. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think so.
There are a couple of guys, Tim Pawlenty and I are good friends, have been before he was ever governor. I've known Norm Coleman since he was mayor of St. Paul, a Democratic mayor of St. Paul. So, I like those two guys. They've always been very, very nice. But I knew them long before they ever had any power. Maybe that's why I get along with both of them. Everybody settle down. It's not the end of the world. Everybody's banging on the table. Oh, my God, we'll never make it through this. It's just horrible. Shut up. Get your head out of your ass and let's go forward. What do you say? Let me put it this way. I work with mostly Democrats. Most of my friends, because I'm from Minnesota, are Democrats. Do I care? No. They lived a different life than I did. Look, you guys lived a completely different life than I did. You're much younger than I am. On the other side, some people, nobody lives the same life. So how we can all be asked to do the exact same things is never going to work. You didn't, I didn't. I mean, so, Tevin, there have been times, I'm sure, in your life when being the one black guy in town had to be kind of a bitch, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, well, yeah, a couple times. But also, it was pretty fun.
A
couple times it sucked, but yeah, a lot of times it was fun.
Well, good. See, I'm glad to hear that, and that's what people need to hear. While there were some assholes where you grew up, most of the people seem to have been very nice to you.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I feel like my life was no different than anybody else. You have good days, you have bad days.
Yes.
But I think the good days tend to outweigh the bad days because you just got to keep a good perspective.
That's well, that's very good advice, and we'll go into break with that. Just your perspective is right. The fact that we're not going to show up for this meeting, we're not going to do this, and we're not going to show up for that, and we're going to. I was like, oh my God, would you grow up, you big babies? That's all I have to say, right?
Yeah, feels like a temper tantrum for not getting your way.
I am not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I have Republican friends. I have many more Democrat friends because I'm from Minnesota. I mean, look at the shows that I'm on. You think Michael Bryant's not a Democrat? I mean, first of all, he's a lawyer, so there's a lot of money in being a Democrat in that job. So let me put it that way. Doug Sprinthal's a Democrat. People, for some reason, think, do you hear that noise?
I do. What is that?
Is that a coffee machine?
No, Catherine bought one of those automatic
vacuums.
I
Roomba?
Hate that. Oh. You don't have enough time for me to get into this rant, but I'm triggered now.
So what's worse, our political system or Roombas?
Roombas,
by far.
I'm in a blood feud with my Roomba at home.
So, folks, let me close with this because I know we got to get going. I don't hate anybody because of their political affiliation, because of their religion, because of their skin color, because of their orientation. I've been accused of hating all of that stuff. It's all a lie. Why? Because newspapers and TV stations make money from that. Radio stations make money from lying about people. I'll tell you the truth. You're all a bunch of candy asses, and you'd never do it to my face. I can guarantee you that, right? So you're a real tough guy. Look, you get your ass kicked. Go to some other market. Maybe you should go to I don't know, there's something southern Illinois with about 2,000 population. That's where most of these people belong.
Yeah, just shunned out into Siberia or something, yeah.
I love it. So calm. As I'm wrapping up, there comes the Roomba again. Honey, do you have to run the Roomba while I'm on the show? Is that, Anyway, we got to take a break here. But so, I mean, you guys, it seems like you guys understand what I'm saying. That I start the day in this magnificent mood because of this, that, and the other thing. That I watch the news for 10 minutes and I am so pissed off at both parties. You're both a bunch of frauds. Ugh. Is ugh a good word?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I like it. All right, we'll take a break. Be right back. Some, I don't know, sports yuck. I don't even know who the hell it is. It's Judd or something.
Jude's going to be on barking about sports.
Jude will be on instead of Judd. That'll be a great show. If there's something to eat, he'll be in a good mood. That's all I have to know. If I put food out, Jude would do a really great report just to get at the chow. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Josh Arnold. Josh is a very good friend of mine, a very, very smart guy. And what I loved about yesterday's show, Judd's on Mondays, on Tuesdays on the show, and we talked about cash. You got to set some cash aside, and I agree with Josh Arnold 100%. That's why I like Josh so much in the way he invests money. Cash is still king, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not kid ourselves. Here's a message to the listeners of the show. I do have an announcement. I need just 5 of you listening to do me and yourselves a favor. I need you to take advantage of a free offer. Yes, I said free. I need you to call Josh Arnold 952-925-5608 and tell him Tom sent you. Josh will meet with you for free and give you advice on investing, handling, and making money, and, of course, the cash part of it that I really enjoy talking to Josh about. He'll answer any and all of your questions about retirement, your 401k, IRA, retirement savings, and it's free. What do you have to lose? I'm talking to you. You hear me? Be one of my 5 listeners. Pick up your phone now and call 952-925-5608. Ask for Josh, Mr. Money Talk. He'll give you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your investments for free. So call Josh now, 952-925-5608. But you got to tell him Tom sent you. Then call me afterward and thank me for the free service. Because I deserve the thank you from you, because all I ever do is deliver. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold, investment consultant, LLC security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's do not constitute investment advice, and I am a paid endorser.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Let's take a second to talk about my bank. That'd be North American Banking Company. If you own a business or thinking about starting one, make sure you check out my friends at North American Banking Company. Mike Bilski. When your business is looking to capitalize on opportunity or solve a problem, turn to their experts because they are locally owned and operated. Loan decisions are made here in the Twin Cities, not shipped out of state. This helps business owners expand with confidence. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. So, Judd, you got to skip out on the first 20 minutes of the show where I railed on humanity because I just had one of those mornings again. I tried to watch television. It's just, we're not going to show up for the vote, and we're not going to do this. And it's like, why don't you get your head out of your ass and serve the people? We're paying you to serve us, not for you to decide when you show up and when you don't. I will tell you when you don't have to show up. How about that?
I don't think watching the news does you much good, to be honest with you. It seems to upset you a little bit.
Well, I just don't understand why people are so effed up. Explain that to me. How can they be that nuts that they're far left or far right?
I have no idea.
I don't get it.
I have
it's
no
just
idea.
Frustrating. So we're changing over in 5 days from today, right? We get a new president 5 days from today.
I think that's right, yeah.
Okay, and so what you're going to do is try to disrupt everything as much as you possibly can. And as I said, I talked about it already. Mm-hmm. I don't like Pete Hegseth. I've met him a few times. I don't like him. I don't care for the guy. Well, I'll give you an example of the kind of deal I'm talking about here. So I get a call in the KQ Morning Show a few years ago that there's this guy that wants to be on the show named Pete Hegseth. And I'm like, I don't even know who that is. I said, okay, well, he really wants to be on. And I said, okay, well, he can come in. He came in the studio, sat next to me, and we talked and blah, 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 blah. After the interview, he decides to tell me, well, thanks for having me on, and I really do appreciate it. And even my parents were listening. And I said, what do you mean even your parents are listening? He goes, oh, my parents hate this show. Oh, so you'll come on it to make money, to get your name bigger. That part's okay. My parents hate you. It's like, what?
Why would you even say that?
Why?
Thanks for having
I
me
just
on.
gave you a half an hour of airtime on the highest rated morning show in America.
Yeah.
And then you tell me how much your parents, you know what it is too. It's that, no, here's an example, that far right religious crap. You're religious, good for you. But when you take it to the extent where I can't listen, he puts some words I don't like in the jokes. Oh, once you grow up. Ugh.
I've decided since 2016 to pay less and less attention.
Good move.
Because there's nothing I can do about it. And look, you know what? We had a vote. Sounds like it was fair and square completely. And the American public spoke, and it's like, oh, okay.
I think I might have liked Abraham Lincoln, but I don't know anybody after him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, that's a good. That's a very good question. Yeah.
It was destroyed for me when in 1961. I'm going to St. Joseph School in North Minneapolis. Matter of fact, it's just south of Plymouth Avenue, North Minneapolis. No, the church and the school are not even there anymore. They tore them both down. But I remember being so excited that a Roman Catholic was elected president of the United States, John F. Kennedy,
Yep.
president of the United States. Did a little reading, destroyed me. That family might be the filthiest family in the world. Joe Kennedy Sr., what a pig that man was. Right?
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. That's really so. But I also think so. I think the difference too back then was to what you just said, Tom. You had to go like search out if you wanted to know more, right?
Yeah.
To go
and
read up
yeah,
and actually, and I think the problem now is because of the amount of channels and social media, and
Right.
It's in your face constantly. Like, can you
Yep.
imagine can you imagine JFK in this political climate? The coverage of that man.
Oh God!
And
handsome devil.
And it's not just politicians. Think about athletes.
No,
we
right.
revered Mickey Mantle. Mm-hmm. To your point, if you go back and look at Mantle's, off the field exploits, he now would be a lightning rod type of character. So like that's the thing I think is there was a time where if you wanted to find out if a person was very flawed, you actually had to do some research.
Well, I will
Now
tell
it comes
you
to
this.
your couch.
When I lived in New York City, I had a neighbor that we were talking about this one night, and I was raving about Mickey Mantle because he's one hell of a baseball player. You can't take that away from him. There's no question about that.
Oh, absolutely.
He said, the guy goes, one of the biggest jerks I've ever met in my entire life. I said, really, Mickey Mantle was? He goes, oh, you wouldn't believe. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, as an example. And this guy, by the way, played with him, so he knew what he was talking about. He was a New York Yankee.
Okay, cool.
Some kid, he figured the kid was somewhere between like 9 and 11 years old, somewhere in there, who came over to the bus, to the open window, put up a pen and a piece of paper and asked Mickey Mantle to sign the piece of paper for him. And Mickey Mantle slammed the window on his fingers.
Ugh.
A little kid.
Wow.
Slammed a bus window on the kid's fingers. That's the kind of guy Mickey Mantle was right there.
Wow.
Ish.
Right.
Can you imagine that? Can you even imagine?
But nobody knew it, That's the thing. It's like nobody knew it. And the funny thing is, if you were to go back in time now and have the amount of the fact that everyone is on camera constantly, right? Like you don't know when you're going to be recorded. And when it comes to old school politicians and athletes, man, would you find out a lot.
You do.
But I'm glad we didn't, by the way.
No, I agree with you, but I will balance it out by telling you, on the opposite side of that kind of action, Harmon Killebrew was one of the sweetest, nicest men I have ever met.
Yep.
God, what a great guy Harmon was.
Oh, fantastic guy.
Really, I miss him. He would come in. So, Tom, how are you? How's Catherine, Andy, and Alex? I mean, he knew everybody in your family, and I'm like, you're a legend. How the hell do you even know who I am?
No, he was the old cliche phrase of a prince of a man. That guy was just beyond, like, down to the fact that he would lecture young players on their autograph if they didn't sign it so that the name could be read.
One of my favorite things about Harmon Killebrew and Rod Carew, by the way. And Rod Carew, let's get Rod Carew on the show sometime and bring up Mike Gelfand. Oh, God, does he hate Gelfand. It's hilarious.
We get him on Friday or
We should get him on Thursday with
Oh, it'd be great to bring him on as a surprise guest. Oh.
Do you remember the little poem that was written about, because Carew, I believe, batted second or third usually in the lineup. Mm-hmm. And then Killebrew was pretty much your cleanup guy, right?
Sure.
And Carew kept taking these huge leads off of third base, right? When he's on third base, he would take this huge lead.
Yep.
I don't know who wrote the lines, but brilliant. Because they kept warning him, it's like, Rod, don't do that. Harmon is very strong. This is very dangerous. Don't do it. But he did it anyway. So somebody posted up on the in the Twins locker room, here lies the body of Rod Carew, lying to left by Killebrew.
Oh, that's good.
Isn't that great?
Was that in like a paper or was that just an internal?
It was an internal thing, yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, what did Carew steal in '69? Was it he stole home 7 times?
Yeah, that's right. Yep. And that's exactly what they're talking about. Is like, stop trying to steal home when Harmon Killebrew's at the plate. He'll kill you with a line shot.
That I didn't think of that, but yes, that is remarkable. You could die quickly that way.
Now I need you guys to do me a favor. When Gelfand is on tomorrow, you should call in and say, Mike, we all been talking about this behind the scenes. We'd really like to, gather together with a cup of coffee, tune in the show, and listen to you just really praise Rod Carew. Rod Carew hated Mike Gelfand. And I mean hated him. Not just disliked him, hated him.
Oh, fun.
When I see Gelfand tomorrow, this is getting brought up. I'm going to be like, who the greatest baseball player of all time is?
Well,
Rod Carew.
Rod was surly back then, too.
Oh, yeah.
Rod could be he's a very nice man now, but my understanding is during his playing career, Rod could be very cantankerous. And I'm guessing that Gelfand poked at him in print maybe once, twice, or 100 times. And don't forget, too, the 70s, athletes in the 70s, it was very different because, first of all, what the writers wrote at the time was important because there was not this national, like today players don't even know who you are. They don't care about local people. They care about national people. Mm-hmm. And ball players as a whole back then were a much more cantankerous group. Today it's because they're paid so much now. It's very corporate. And clubhouses have back rooms. So like if the media's in your clubhouse now or locker room, a lot of times you're in a back room. You don't even see them. Back then, you had nowhere else to go.
That's exactly right. Who was the guy again? The redheaded guy. I used to run into a convention grill all the time. Just hated me. Hated the show. Hated me. What the hell's his name again? Back in the day. Dan Gladden.
Okay.
Oh, God, Gladden hates if I go in a convention grill to this day, he's usually in there and he sits and he eats his hamburger while staring at me like, I'd like to kill you.
Gladdy is very much an old school, yes.
Oh, yeah. No question. All right, pal, any closing words?
No. You know what? I'm just glad that we got through this entire report without talking about the local football team. I'm not even mentioning their name. I'm not even mentioning their name. The local football team, Tevin.
Thank you.
We try to get through it, Tevin.
Mum's the word, Tevin. Yep. Mum's the word.
Snuck it in there at the last minute. You hear that? Just sneaks her in at the last minute.
All right, I'll be back with another fine report tomorrow.
Looking
if you'll
forward
have me.
to it. Well, there's no question about that. Thank you, sir.
See ya, bye.
Judd, Zulgad, ladies and gentlemen, SKOR North, South Dakota, one of the most business-friendly states in the country. There's no better place to settle down and take advantage of those incentives than in Sioux Falls. As the state's largest city with a metro population over 290,000, Sioux Falls has low business costs with a high quality of life. There's no state, corporate, or personal income tax, no inheritance tax, no limits to what your business can achieve. Here's the deal. South Dakota ranks among the top 10 in the United States. And again, this is top 10 in the United States. Tax friendliness. They're very friendly, as a matter of fact. Hard-working people, healthcare, doctors, most popular to move to. Yes, South Dakota is a hot spot to be moved to. And here's the deal. Listed in the 50 best places to live for families, the fastest growing Midwest metro, as a matter of fact. One of the best places to raise a family. Yep. One of the best small cities for Gen Z workers. National 4th top inbound city people move to. Why wouldn't you want to move there? How does South Dakota stack up against other states? We rank second in the nation for the lowest cost of doing business. Very important. The most business-friendly state and the best business tax climate. Another very important little issue there. And as South Dakota's biggest city, Sioux Falls is at the center of these benefits. Visit visit www.siouxfallsdevelopment.com.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, well, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? You know, inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
This past year, been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history, you know that. It's because of you that they're making it through. Mike Lindell's employees want to thank you for your continued support by extending their wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows now for only $14.98. Can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98, but it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size, it's only $1 more. Get My Body Pillows for $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM, or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM to take advantage of their wholesale prices, man. Including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens at $18.98, and Kings only $1 more. Not only that, order $75 or more, ship absolutely free. Get a hold of my friends, including Dawn and Mike, at MyPillow.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. I watched your broadcast this morning. You kick it up. What time? What's your first broadcast of the morning?
Yes, sir. Glad to have you watching. We go on at 4:30.
4:30. Yeah. Okay. So it's like 5:30.
I go on at 5:30.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's when I tuned you in.
Yeah.
And then I tuned you right out because I thought that was the one you didn't do. Thank you, Barrett. It's great to be here.
I feel 90% of people probably tune us out with mostly everything that we say.
I don't. I think you do a fine job.
I mean, I hope not, but I don't know.
Well, I would say this.
To look up from their phones a little bit. That's all.
I would say this, that I Channel 5 is definitely the least over the top politically of any of the stations. There's no question about that. I mean, you talk politics, but you don't go over the top like these other psychopaths do.
Listen, I'll tell you one thing. I'm a big fan of our political reporter, Tom Hauser.
Great guy.
You know he does his job correctly when all the R's think he's a D and all the D's think he's an
right.
R. And he, to this day, I've socialized with Tom on several occasions, and I wouldn't have the faintest idea what his political affiliation is, if anything. Nope. And that's exactly the way it should be. So
I couldn't agree more. But yeah, I was watching the news this morning. You guys do a really good job with that, except for telling people that with the wind chill is going to be about 30 below, but it's going to be 27 above tomorrow or something.
It's like 27 today. It's going to be a heat
it's today. Okay.
Might actually be able to walk the dogs today. The last several days, the dogs are just like, "What are you doing?" And they're like just moping around the house. I guess I'll have to get off my rear end and go out and walk the dogs today.
Yeah, I mean, with the wind chill yesterday, wasn't it like 30 below?
It was really cold yesterday morning. I don't know how Tevin and AJ, how'd your guys' cars turn over yesterday morning?
I have indoor parking, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I definitely do not leave the house. My dog does not go for a walk when it's negative 30. We stay inside.
No. The remote start feature was it came in very handy yesterday morning.
Wow, look at you two flexing with your wow, life of privilege.
Chris,
shout out to Subaru. Thank you, Subaru.
I got to whisper to Chris here. Chris, don't say turnover again because both their cars were repossessed yesterday.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I had to get it onto the truck bed for the guy to take it away. That's the only reason I started it up the thermal start.
I had to fight that guy to get my car back.
there you go.
I might have the last couple of days have me thinking seriously about remote start on my 2008 Buick that I drive. I might give that a little more thought.
Buick, huh, Mr. Fancy?
2008
Buick.
Yeah.
It's a Buick. It's a grandpa car. It's a classic.
You know what though? I really miss like Oldsmobiles and Pontiacs and all of that. They're all gone now. Those were great cars, I thought.
They were, and I haven't had like a sedan car forever. And I kind of came across this one in a weird turn of events. It's only got like 88,000 miles on it. It's a 2008. It's like got one of those North Star V8s in it. The baby just hums down the road. It's awesome.
There's a guy in studio now who knows nothing about auto sales. His name is Doug.
Yeah, we used to buy those from people about my age who had 90-year-old parents that couldn't drive them anymore. So it was like a 15-year-old LaCrosse with 4,000 miles on it. And both sides are just totally trash from running it into the sides of the garage. But they were great cars. They really were. Hey, that'll have, well, actually, AJ and Tevin, you're young enough that you'll be in self-driving cars by the time you're 90.
Never. I enjoy
never.
Well, one, I might die before then. Two, I enjoy driving too much. Like I don't want something else. I'm not going to trust it.
AJ likes so when your kids say, Dad, either get the self-driving Hummer or give me the keys and shut up. What are you going to do?
I'll be in that self-driving car all day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Okay, as long as we're talking about cars, I want to get all four of your opinion on this deal because I see more and more and more of them. I think Elon Musk makes them. The truck.
The Cybertruck.
The most hideous vehicle on the road.
Of all time, Tevin. That's the ugliest car I have ever seen.
I have a theory that his design team is all 8th grade boys because even the regular sedans look like helmets from Star Wars. And do you know on Teslas there's a setting in there if you want it, when you turn the blinkers on, it will make farting noises.
Yep. Farting noises. You can turn like the screen that shows your car into like Santa's sleigh. Like, yeah.
It's 8th grade boys designed those cars. And then it all suddenly makes sense.
I bought one of the first Teslas ever made in 2004. Was that 2003 or 4?
It would have been about 8 or 9, I think. The Roadster, right?
It was before that. It was because it was before the economy. Or no, maybe you're right. Maybe it was then.
Those are actually collectible now. They've gone up in value since then.
Oh, so I shouldn't have sold mine.
You screwed up once again, Tom.
Well, the problem was it used to do a thing called bricking. It never did for me, but they talked about bricking where the wheels would lock up and your car wouldn't move.
Oh,
like, nah, you can't be driving a car like that.
That's not helpful.
On a $100,000 car, that seems like kind of a drawback.
I think it was $1.25. Now I think it would be about $250,000 for one of those.
They're a little under 2 of their, they're all low miles. Nobody bought those as daily drivers.
Yeah, I understand, but that one guy set the one on fire in Vegas right in front of the Trump Hotel. I know. Holy God, that thing blew up. Man.
Well, they're saying the design of that thing actually stopped that situation from being a lot worse because the truck itself contained most of the explosive. Otherwise, it would have done a lot more damage. So
good.
Isn't
that 8th grade design that those boys came up with? It worked out pretty well in that particular case.
Saved some people. That's good. I still think that's the craziest thing that 2 guys on the same day did terrorist attack and rented electric vehicles. And somehow they're not connected. I don't have a tinfoil hat on. I'm saying it's possible. It's just weird.
I'll tell you what the connection is, Doug. They both used the same app.
Yeah, true,
which means there's zero connection. I'll connect the dots because you can't go and get a specific type of truck, a hybrid truck like the guy used in New Orleans, by going up to the Hertz rental counter. Right. It's a very specific type of truck, as is the Cybertruck. So they just both happen to use this app that regular public rents out their cars. Yep. I was told the day that happened, all the national media was hand waving about the Turo app and not. I mean, I just clearly understand the app.
That was stupid. It's like blaming VRBO. I mean, I get it. I've known what Turo was forever. It's just so odd to me that both attacks happened on the same day, and coincidentally using electric vehicles. It's just
Yeah.
It's odd.
I'm with you.
Now, speaking of getting behind the wheel, Chris has to go and drive the news on Channel 5.
That's right. I'm actually more of a passenger on this trip, but that's great.
Well, there you go. Mr. Egert, thank you, sir. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.
What a good man. Chris Egert, ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5. Watch their news this morning. Okay, is he gone?
Yep. Yes, he is.
Yes.
He is terrific on the news. He's one hell of a good news anchor. I don't want him hearing that, though, so don't tell him.
No, we'll send some 1-star reviews over to the.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a review site or anything, but-
There you go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we should take a break here, come back, and find out what's going on in the world. Got a special guest, Yvette Nicole Brown, is going to be with us in about 15 minutes, somewhere in there.
Yeah, about that.
So we'll come back and why don't we approach this?
Okay.
Modern trends people will regret in 10 years. Ooh. I can't think of one. Can you think of any?
Yeah, I think
I can think of
every TikTok trend that I've ever.
See, I don't do any of that stuff, so I don't know anything about that stuff.
Vaping. There's a lot.
Yeah.
We'll be here for 3 hours.
Okay, we'll take a break, come back. Modern trends people will regret in 10 years right after this.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
It's time for Bradshaw and Bryant. At this time of year, something that we might not think about, slipping and falling on ice when you're out, or worse, someone slipping and falling on your property. Property owners are legally responsible for maintaining a safe environment for visitors. You can post a caution sign or de-ice the area. Failing to do either and somebody getting injured because of your lack of safety precaution can be considered negligent. If someone does slip and fall and suffers an injury, they have a certain amount of time to file a claim, or you lose your right to collect any damages for your injury. If this happens to you, contact an experienced attorney right away. It's free to meet to go over your case. Contact Mike Bryant of Bradshaw and Bryant at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. I hope this never happens to you, but if it does, Mike Bryant is the one I recommend to all my friends and listeners.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think, 3.5 years ago. All the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch and I'm very happy. It's the best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank? With my friends at North American Banking Company. To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Doug Sprinthal in studio. Tevin, AJ, your buddy Tom. Your buddy. Do you notice how I said that?
We did notice. Very professional.
Magnificent, ladies and gentlemen. So it's too bad you weren't here an hour ago when I kind of went on a rant and a rave about how much I dislike politicians.
You know, I've been watching the confirmation hearings and then the drama in the Minnesota House of Representatives. And the one guy that I am excited about that Trump picked, I think Marco Rubio could be a really good Secretary of State.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
I'd back him completely. Not that I don't hate, not that I dislike all his other picks, but that guy is like, he's really smart and he's got some miles on him. I think he'll do a good job, and that's a really important position.
No doubt. I just trying to get through the whole situation. I was just watching television yesterday and watching these news anchors just you're just trying to piss people off so you can make more money. That's all they're doing. They don't care what you think. They're trying to make more money.
Here's what we do to relax in Red Wing. We take a few gummies and watch the British baking show. Suddenly the world is a fine place.
I like to watch those shows, actually, to tell you the truth, because people get very whipped up about it.
Well, it's British, though. They're kind of low-key.
The British one is, yeah, you're right.
And
the American ones are not.
Like, whoa, that's so cool.
Works for me. Okay, modern trends people will regret in 10 years. I have not looked at this yet. Do you guys have any guesses what they might be, the trends?
I don't know. Probably something like clothing related, or it's got to be maybe health related if you're going to regret it in 10 years. I don't know.
Well, I just looked at it. There are 20 of them. It's like, holy God.
I think Doug was probably spot on before the break with like vaping and like I've seen a more like face tattoos get more prevalent. Yeah. I think Ozempic's going to be in there too, just because like doctors don't really have any clue of the after effects of it. So,
pretty soon people have third eyes.
Yeah.
This is hilarious because number 20 is people painting their walls gray. We're having the place painted. Some of the walls will be gray.
Yeah.
That's very nice balance in color, I think. I don't know, whatever. Buying Cybertrucks. I have no interest in a Cybertruck. Buying NFTs. I've never done that either.
Who is still buying
an NFT?
That
should be one everybody already regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know what this is, but it's called the broccoli haircut.
It's big in high schools.
Oh, is it? Is it just literally you look like you have that big puffy on top of your head?
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
That's hideous. There's no question about it. I've seen some women wearing that hairstyle, by the way, and it looks even worse on women.
I'm going to relabel this the get off my lawn list.
Get off my lawn. That's exactly right.
Flabbit haircuts.
I don't even know what this is. Having an OnlyFans. What the hell's that?
OnlyFans is for suburban housewives that take their clothes off and make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's what they do? OnlyFans? They show you their nipples?
Yeah, it started out as a place for like musicians and starving artists to promote their products, and then sex workers got on there and started making like pornographic material, selling feet photos, things like that. So
I just, this is what the internet has done for us. It's literally destroying the world. Honest to God. Like I said, I get a call from Elon Musk's son, and then I find out he's one of 15 or 16 people that claim to be Elon Musk's son. So it's like, you lying sack.
I still think it's funny you don't know what OnlyFans is. I
have no idea. I have no clue what OnlyFans is.
I don't know what OnlyFans
That seems like exactly something that somebody would
Yeah.
know OnlyFans, but doesn't want to know about it, would say.
This is the 21st century version of I read it for the articles.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Why don't they just name the saying, drop 'em Bridget? What's wrong with that? OnlyFans, drop 'em Bridget would be better, wouldn't it?
There's some women making some serious dough doing that.
Yeah, there's
That's what I hear,
people that make well into six figures a month type of things doing.
A month?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like people like, oh well, it started as like a way to, you know, get through college or get through whatever, and then they're like, yeah, now I just do this because.
Tom, just so you know, there's not much market for 72-year-old feet.
Yeah, you never know.
There's probably one guy out there. We haven't explored that.
Kevin's like, once it can be okay.
We get to the top 15. Number 15 is the proliferation of sports betting. I don't bet on sports. I don't know anything about that.
I do think that's kind of taken a very weird turn where
has it?
You can't turn on
it's
ESPN or literally any game without like, yeah, we got the Falcons taking on the whoever today, and the line for the game is this, and this player's set to, he needs only 12 more yards. Again, it's like, oh my gosh, guys, I just want to watch a football game sometimes.
Don't mention football to me again for like the next 6 months, because that team pissed me off to no end. That's all I have to say. Get away from me. I hate you.
The best part then too is when a player gets suspended for like 12 games because they placed bets on like a croquet match happening overseas, and then it's like, well, anyways, this next segment's brought to you by FanDuel.
Yep.
And oh my God, guys, I don't know.
Yeah, so that part's okay, huh?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to sneeze. I don't know why, but I did. I had to sneeze, man. It's a good thing I turned off my mic. Anti-intellectualism. Who's anti-intellectualism? Who does that?
I'm not sure what that means. I got to look that up.
I mean,
that's people that think that educated people are terrible.
Well, just like everybody else, pretty much a lot of them are.
Oh, yeah. It's hostility and mistrust of intellect.
Why? Because you're stupid?
Probably.
I don't understand that at all. I don't even know what the hell that is. I must stay locked up in my room watching sports too much or something, because I don't even know anything about any of this stuff.
That sounds like
They just don't like school and philosophy and dismiss.
Oh, that's what it is.
Literature and history and science.
Well, school's doing a pretty good job of screwing our children up. There's no question. They don't know how to read or write anymore. But other than that, that's good.
Well, according to this article, you might regret that statement here in a little bit.
See?
Well, there's a possibility. That's true. Yeah, there's no question about it.
Jay comes off the top rope.
Yeah, the grades. Love those grades, man. Number 13, over-reliance on AI text generators to write letters. Yeah, you don't want to do that, do you? Is that a good idea?
No, and I feel like that's a lot more popular in schools nowadays. Like, I got to write this huge paper. Let me chat GPT. Stuff I can't.
Or I know some people who work in like an office, and then like they work in a team, and they get, it's like, let's use an AI thing to make a schedule for the day. It's like, how about we just go through bullet points, man?
Or you'll type out like, here's my email that I'm going to send to Tom. How can I make it sound more nice? And then you hit the nice button, and
all the fuck yous disappear.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hubbard's going to like that one. Anyway, moving forward.
The dump button.
Over-reliance on AI text generators. Number 12, sending their DNA to a random company. Number 11, the people letting go of their privacy. Number 10, giving kids their really, really terrible names. How do you judge what's a really terrible name to give your kid?
Oh, there's some bad ones.
Are there really?
Like black people, I think they need.
Oh, Devin.
I will say, in the black community, there are some.
I think Elon Musk is leading the race right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll give him the crown. But there's some names out there that you're like, really? That's what you went with?
What, you don't like your kid to be named 765-6009? Doesn't he name his kids like numbers and stuff like that?
You did name one of them like some weird robot license plate.
Why would you do that? Why? I think we got to take a break because he's already getting a call, so I've got to believe that our guest is probably getting ready to go. Plus the fact, this article is nowhere near as good as I thought it would be. So we'll go to number one. The number one thing, putting their whole lives on the internet, the worst parts will resurface. Yeah, I don't put my life on the internet other than, screw you. I do put that on there. Does that make sense? All right, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break, come right back. Got a special guest coming right after this. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you. They're making it through. Mike Lindell and his employees want to thank you for your continued support by extending their wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows now for only $14.98. Yes, I said $14.98. I cannot believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98, but it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get My Body Pillows for $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to mypillow.com and use promo code TOM or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98. Now is only $14.98. Queens at $18.98 and Kings only $1 more. Not only that, orders $75 or more, ship absolutely free. MyPillow, baby. That's all I got to say.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Are we good to go?
We sure are. We have Yvette Nicole Brown on the line.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Family Business New Orleans show premieres with the first 2 episodes on the 23rd of January, just a few days from now, as a matter of fact, on BET+. Will air each Thursday through March. Yvette Nicole Brown. Yvette, you got that smile on your face right now, Yvette. I'm looking at this picture. You got this big smile. You got that cooking right now?
How could I not smile listening to this voice this morning?
Yeah, well, is the girl crazy? I like it. That works for me. That works for me. When the New Orleans side of the Duncan family gets caught in a vicious turf war with corrupt politicians, dirty land developers. God, whoever heard of this? Corrupt politicians and dirty land developers. Yvette, we're going through a situation right now where I found out, and I did not know this, and I'll get back on track here, I promise, but I cannot believe that all those people, about half of them whose houses are burning down in Los Angeles, will not be able to get their own land back because they don't own the land underneath their house.
You know, I'm just hearing about this. That's shocking to me. But, you know, listen, in LA, sadly, the land is more expensive than most of the houses. If you have a fire, usually it's easier, it's cheaper to rebuild if you have the land. But if you don't own the land, that's where the money is. That's so wrong.
Yeah, no question that you don't own the land. And the other thing we're finding out, and I did not know this, which is another reason I just can't believe this happened. If you buy a $5 million house, you can get about $2.5 million from the bank, and you have to put up the other $2.5 million in cash. The houses will not finance for as much as they're asking for the houses. So you don't own the land, and you have to pay for about half of it up front.
That's why I never bought one.
That's why you never bought a $10 million house in LA. Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
Yeah, that's the reason I didn't buy one too.
Yeah.
But no, I never used it. That's new information for me.
So where did you grow up, Yvette?
I'm from East Cleveland, Ohio. I grew up in the West. Yeah, the weather. Oh, the weather.
Oh, the weather. How about the football? You like the football?
You know, I love the Browns. I am literally a Cleveland Brown, so I have to support the home team.
I am literally a Cleveland Brown.
I am. Yvette Nicole Brown. I'm a Cleveland Brown. But yeah, it's, you know, listen, we hope springs eternal.
It does. Well, believe me, I'm a Viking fan, so I hope better spring eternal. I'll tell you that. It's been rough. So tell me about the Family Business New Orleans. What's it all about?
Well, it's a spinoff of the original Family Business, which was on BET. It's been on BET for 5 seasons now. And we're taking the Duncan family drama down to New Orleans, and it's set in a family-owned casino called the Midnight Blues, and the amazing Rashawn Fuqua and Brandon T. Jackson are our stars. And, you know, there's political drama and intrigue and romance, and I bring some of the jokes. So it's really a wonderful family drama. And if you watch the original Family Business, you're going to like what we're putting down.
That's wonderful. I mean, we do need entertainment now more than ever, I think. So it's good to hear that all these new things are popping up and coming along. And it just, I think, Yvette, I need to be distracted because the world right now, whether it's the unfortunate fires, now 25 or 26 people have died in the fires. And then they got the political battles. You suck. No, you suck more than I do. It's real. The only thing I got left is to either read a book or sit down and watch a little television. That's what you can do. Of course, listen to the radio and podcasts too, you know.
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel the same way. And that's why it was important for me to do the press tour, even in the midst of what we're dealing with out here, because everybody needs a respite. We need a break. I need time out. Can I just take my mind off of this for just 5 minutes to get my mind right, you know? And I hope what happens with all the upheaval in the world and in our city in particular, that we find a sense of community again. There used to be a time where when a natural disaster happened, people didn't turn on each other. They thought, well, maybe we should look into climate change or figure out how this happened instead of placing blame where it doesn't belong. And, of course, I'm talking about the way they're attacking Mayor Bass out here. It's ridiculous. This was a once-in-a-lifetime storm, and it's something that nobody in California was prepared for. There's no one that saw this coming. Even the fire chiefs are saying, with these winds and the inability to get up in the air to put water out to drop water because of the winds, no one could have predicted this perfect storm. So I hope that people understand that and lean into helping each other and supporting each other instead of tearing each other down. That's what I hope comes from this.
It's so funny you bring that up because I started this show by complaining a lot about watching our politicians last night on national television with, the new president coming in 5 days. You got people just acting like complete psychopaths. Look, the majority of people, it was Biden 4 years ago, it was Trump this time around. Are either one of the guys my kind of guy? No. But they were elected by the people of the United States. So, hey, Biden, you're the president, and Donald Trump, you're going to be president. I got nothing. That's who the people wanted, so that's who they got. I guess I can go along with that, right?
I'm on the other side because I think that what's most important is kindness and someone that cares about other people. And I think there's a big difference between the two of those men you mentioned. And I want someone that cares. Like right now, there's there's a social a safety net that we should have as people in this country. We all pay taxes, and our taxes should go towards protecting us and keeping us safe when something goes wrong. So I like my presidents to want to take care of everybody, not just the people that voted for them.
So basically, So Yvette, you agree with me then that we both, the last president I supported was Abraham Lincoln. So that's pretty accurate. That's good.
Yeah, I wasn't around to know, but
oh, but you were, Tom. Thanks a lot, Yvette.
you're great for my people, so I'll stick behind that.
You know, the amazing thing about that, Yvette, is that you and I could have completely different takes on everything. It doesn't affect in any way, shape, or form what I think of you as a person. I just don't understand why people personalize this stuff so much. It's like, you know, your side wins, good for you. Your side wins, good for you. Let's try to be nice to one another, all the rest of it. Calm down.
You know, I agree with that to an extent, but
sure.
When you're targeted, if you're a person that's targeted because of the amount of melanin you have in your skin, and there's an agenda that wants to harm you, literally, it's hard to get behind what a person that's like that may do. So it's just a little. It stings a little more when you're the target. You know what I'm saying? With Biden in office, no one was in danger. There have been things said about me as a Black woman and what I can do with my body and what's happening, what my trajectory will be because of the other person. So it's hard for me to go, oh, it'll be fine. It won't be fine for me. And it won't be fine for other types of people that person doesn't like and doesn't support. And that's scary.
No, there's no question about it. The people on the show that will tell you that I've been attacked over and over by the press in this state trying to ruin my life. So I know exactly what you're talking about. They're not good people.
It's a personal, I extend personal kindness to everyone that I meet.
Yep.
As long as they're not trying to kill me.
Well, that's good.
That's kind of picky.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
If you want me to thrive, we might have a problem. But if you just live in your life, let me live, and you're letting me live mine, then we're fine. We're fine.
Well, see, that's exactly what we just did. We proved to people that maybe we have different views on certain things. I don't think they're, big canyons in the difference of our views. But you and I have never met. We just talked about something. We didn't really take other sides. Just you told me who you were. I told you who I was. We're fine. Right. It'll all work out. People maybe should listen to this interview and go, I guess we could all just get along if we just calm down.
Wouldn't that be nice if you just live and let people live? Like, don't let what you want impinge on someone else's right to live their life. You know what I mean? That's all it is. Just don't hate on me. I won't hate on you. Let's just be kind and be neighbors and take care of each other.
And what comes of that is I will never miss an episode of The Family Business New Orleans. Show premieres with first 2 episodes on the 23rd of January on BET Plus, and will air each Thursday through March. Yvette, you're a very solid, very talented person. I really appreciate your take on things because it does not feel good to be attacked by people. You've been through it. I've been through it. It does not feel good because most of them have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, and they don't really know you. So you got to just, this is the other thing that I will say. You will know the tree by the fruit it bears. I tell everybody, look at my fruit. See how I move through life and how I take care of people. And if you got a problem with that, then okay. But I know that my fruit is good. And that's all that matters.
Well, you're a good person, Yvette, and I want to have you back on. Anytime you want to come back on, Yvette, I look forward to seeing you again.
I would love it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Yvette Nicole Brown, ladies and gentlemen. See, now that's how political discussion should go. Not, oh, yeah, well, I'm hanging up. It's like, settle down. Why? Why do people have to be like that? Explain it to me.
Because that's what gets views and clicks and
so it is the internet that has screwed up the world completely.
Yeah, probably.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Every time she was talking, I just kept having flashbacks to watching Drake and Josh, and she was like the movie theater manager. And I'm like, yep, this is like a blast back to my childhood.
Yeah.
I would describe her as a very attractive person. I got to be honest with you. Did you guys see her picture?
I did not.
I mean, she's a stunningly beautiful woman.
Absolutely.
No question about it. So whenever stunningly beautiful women say something, I always pay attention because, it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to check out this show that she's in because, she's a very funny, naturally funny person.
Yes.
And so,
Yep.
and she has a lot of energy in all the roles she plays. So this should be hopefully a good watch.
I would think so, no question about it. But I enjoy talking to people I've never met. I didn't know who she was actually because I don't watch a whole hell of a lot of television. I just watch some documentaries and that kind of thing. But I will watch that show because she's on it now because she was very even keel. Because some people, when I read what I read, would have gone off the deep end and hung up, or they would have started screaming at me or whatever. She just said, "Well, that's not the way I look at it."
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, differing opinions. Okay.
Yep. And I don't really have a differing opinion. I just a lot of people I don't care for. It's just how it goes, So what else is happening? Anything good?
No, nothing's ever good.
Are you a fan of pineapple on your pizza?
Oh no, not at all.
No,
I hate pineapple on my pizza.
You're gonna save a lot of money though.
Yeah, because there's a pizzeria in Norwich, Norfolk, that because they don't believe in pineapple on pizza, that are charging people $125
for
add pineapple to their pizza. The menu description reads, for $125 you can have it. Order the champagne too. Go on, you monster. So,
I wonder if anybody orders it.
That's a good question.
There's got to be probably somebody dumb enough. I mean, somebody paid $1 million for banana duct tape to a wall.
Yeah,
I heard that story.
Now, I would say this, that basically I am a pepperoni pizza kind of guy. I will eat other kinds of pizzas. But the thing that I don't understand either is when they just lob these fistful of onions on a pizza. Ugh, nasty.
Yeah, I feel like too much of any one ingredient sometimes can be a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
No question about it. No doubt about it. Doug, I was talking about this earlier. Catherine and I went to a dinner last night at a place called Lenore's. And it's an Italian place. God, Italian food, when it's made right, is the best food on earth. All right, no doubt. But Catherine did say this. So did you make a reservation for dinner tonight? I said, yes. She said, which Italian place are we going to?
After 45 years, she probably picked up on some nonverbal cues.
Yeah. She's a quick
Tom
learner.
walking around drooling.
Well, I'm a nice Catholic boy. What am I supposed to do?
I like Italian food, too. Sophia Loren famously said, I could be a size zero, but I'd rather drink wine and eat pasta.
There you go.
She still managed to look pretty good.
I would have to agree with you on that one. No doubt about that. See, that's the one thing I will tell you about Catherine that annoys the hell out of me. I mean, she's just under 6 feet tall. She weighs about 4 pounds. She can eat whatever the hell she wants, and she never gains an ounce.
Yeah, my wife's like that, too, other than she's about a foot shorter. But I mean, she eats pepperoni and cheese and chips, and her blood pressure's like 10/1. It's not fair.
I understand. You ever have these sweet potato crisps? I can't remember who makes them. The little chips, like the crisps, you kind of dip them, and what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have sweet potato ones. I'd never had them before, so I bought a bag. I had a couple. Last night I went to have a couple more. There was like one chip left in the bag because who attacked the bag and ate all of the sweet potato
Sure wasn't Judd.
Oh no, Jude! Yeah, Jude knows how to open He knows how to open the upper deck now, so that'd be good.
You might want to borrow Donnie's jet and fly some SWAT team from Libya down there. I think you're starting to fade.
You think so?
Sweet potato chips and Italian food. Yeah, we're gonna need to surround you with celery for a week or so.
Oh no, I just lost 80 pounds, pal. What are you talking about? Calm down. I want to lose about 20, 25 more, though. I do. So we're going to get that good. Well, I'm already doing that because I walk between 6 and 8 miles every day. Every day. I love walk, though, because it really calms me down a lot, too. I go out and walk and do all that kind of stuff. And I just like the way it makes me feel. I really do.
It's so good for you, especially when you're older, because it doesn't trash your knees and stuff like running and stuff does.
It does not. It does stretch out that little, the back of your foot where your calf attaches to the heel.
Like your Achilles tendon?
Your Achilles tendon. That can pull on that Achilles tendon, man. I'll tell you that. You walk that much and your Achilles is like, okay, that's enough walking now.
that's probably like my biggest irrational fear is that my Achilles tendon is just going to magically pop after seeing all those, like, athletic injuries. And I'm like that because that's just you have to fish it out of your calf. Like, no, thank you.
Say that.
All right, we got to take a break. Some hun yuck from I think L.A. I'm not sure, but how we do it. But before we bring on Kristen Burt, how are we doing? Have the fires gotten any better at all? I mean, they got them under.
I think it was a second round last night, if I remember. They were predicting it because the winds were going to kick up again. I think
right.
That right.
Yeah, and then now I believe everybody's mad at the Kardashians because they
Really?
are.
Sure.
I saw something where they were using like 330,000 gallons of water, like in a month or something, at their house at one point. And so people were like, "Yeah, you're supposed to be saving water," and blah blah blah. So they're back in the storm. So I wonder if Kristen has any insight.
Well, we're going to find out. Kristen Burt is up next.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think, 3.5 years ago. All the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch, and I'm very happy. It's the best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank? With my friends at North American Banking Company. To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the Bradshaw and Bryant.
I hosted my show on the radio for 40 years. Now I host the Tom Barnard podcast, and I'll tell you, I've never seen the passion and engagement from our audience as I do now. I know we also have businesses that listen to our podcast, and it got me thinking. Wouldn't it be great to help those businesses grow by telling my listeners about them? So here's the deal. If you own or handle marketing for a business, would like to have my audience buy your product or service, visit TomBernardShow.com, keyword partner, and we'll put together an ad campaign to help your business. That's TomBernardShow.com, keyword partner, and thank you for listening.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Kristen Burt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Kristen Burt, how you doing?
Still in my house. This is good news.
Is it still flaming?
It is, yeah. It's probably going to take over probably another 4 to 6 weeks before the Palisades and Eaton fire are completely out.
Yeah.
6 weeks?
Because there's flare-ups and stuff like that.
Flare-ups. Remember, this is over 23,000 acres for the Palisades fire alone. And I think what people don't realize is that you can put out a flame, and because it is so dry here, it won't soak down all the way to like the roots of the soil, and things can spark back up 5 days later, a week and a half later. So it's going to take them a long time. I think at 6 p.m. tonight, the high wind advisory goes away. And this may be the time where we start to turn the corner and they get an even greater handle on the vastness of these fires.
Yeah, it's, I mean, is there any end in sight even?
Well, I think if we, with the high winds dying down, I think that we will start to see a lot of the the core part of the flames that have been spreading. We'll be able to really get a grip on those, which is helpful.
That'll be good. Yvette Nicole Brown was on the show about 15 minutes ago, and talking about the very thing, trying to keep working through this and all the rest of it. And then, I asked her about some other things, and She has some pretty specific ideas about her feelings on politics and all the rest of it, and some of the stuff we agreed on, some of the stuff we didn't. But it was kind of nice because there were things that we didn't agree on, but she was still very pleasant, and I had a real nice time talking to her. I hope people learn something from that, is that you don't have to automatically go off the deep end because you had a different life than somebody else did. Calm down.
Sure.
She did not share your views on the performance of the LA mayor. I will tell you that.
No, you got that right.
Was she still in support of Karen Bass?
Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty amazing.
I'll be super honest about that. She's probably in the minority on that.
She is, definitely.
Yeah. And it's one of those situations where I don't see politically, my husband and I were talking about it last night. I don't see politically how Karen Bass survives this.
No,
right now is not the time to like try and oust the mayor. She's got to do her job because we have to get through this crisis. But in the aftermath, I don't see it.
How long is her term? When is she up for election again? Do you know?
She's got another year, so 2026.
So pretty soon, yeah.
Yeah. And and you've got Rick Caruso, the bazillionaire, who is a big time big shot in this town. He's nipping at her heels, and he ran against her last time as a Democrat. I don't think he's a Democrat, but he did run against her and spent his own money and put up a close fight. And if he decides to run again next year, I think he could win.
But see, I think it was a good example to people how they should act, because Yvette was very sweet. Yvette Nicole Brown, we're talking about the family business New Orleans, the new show premiering on BET+. There are things we agreed on. We had some good laughs, and some things we didn't agree on. But did either one of us attack our position? No. It's like, well, you believe that, and I believe something different. We've lived different lives. We're different people. Calm down.
And she's a resident of LA, so that is her politician and her right to vote. And we will all see what happens. I just personally don't see it. And a majority of like my circle did vote for Karen Bass, and everyone is kind of saying the same thing. So they just feel like they're just done with her. And what killed her, yes, she went to Africa and then came back, but it was that Sky News reporter where she was trying to, get off the jetway. I don't know if you saw that. And she didn't say anything. So instead of saying like a PR 101, you say, I made the mistake of like leaving the country, but I am back and I'm here. I'm ready to lead. Let's get this going. I'm in contact with the fire chief and the president and Gavin Newsom. Let's go. That's all you had to do. But turning her head down and ignoring that reporter was the wrong PR move.
Well, I'm very proud of myself because I had that happen to me one time where I was sabotaged by some reporters and all that stuff. It was back in the day.
I got to hear this story. Go ahead.
It was back in the day when I was a racist and this and I'm a that. And you hate everyone. It's all bullshit. And they knew it was bullshit. I made the mistake of excessively succeeding in Minnesota, which you don't want to do. You can succeed a little bit more than everybody else, but you can't really succeed because then you're not one of us. It's just kind of that kind of deal. But as we're walking along, they're filming, and the cameraman's walking, backwards behind me, or in front of me, excuse me, and the reporter's kind of behind me to my right and all the rest of it, and I'm talking to him. And I look over, and it wasn't true, but I said, you want to start this over? And he goes, what are you talking about? And I said, you got a huge booger coming out of your nose, which wasn't true. But then I just walked away and they didn't follow me because he had to make sure he didn't have a huge booger coming out of his nose. That's the way you handle those people. You don't get mad at them and start screaming at them. You go, yeah, really? You had a little pee stain on the front of your pants.
Let's not go back to that.
Not go back to that? That's a different deal?
You, Mr. Pea Stain, remember?
Yes, I do remember. I do remember Mr. P. What did I spill in my life? What was that?
It was a gallon of something.
It was like a Diet Pepsi, I think.
It was a Diet Pepsi? Yeah. It just all over the front of my pants. It looked like I had peed my pants for about an hour.
It did. And like when you spill soda, when you spill water, it's one thing because that stain goes away. But like when it's soda or juice, you still get that like outline. It's dried, but it's there. It's still a reminder of what happened an hour ago.
No question about it. So Hollywood, it's still like 88%? I think it's like 12% contained. Is that about right now?
I
Something like
believe, let me look. I believe it's about 18% contained
Oh, is it now?
on
Okay.
the Palisades fire. I will look at my Watch Duty app, which
Oh.
instead of TikTok being like my most popular app, it is Watch Duty. Yeah, so it is 19% now. That's an improvement over 18%.
That is good.
We'll take it. And the Eaton fire has made headway. It's somewhere around 33% or something like that. So they're getting a better handle on that, which is great. That area did not have the high wind alert that we had here in the other part of Los Angeles County. We're on the other side. So that helped tremendously. Oh, look at that. They're at 40. I think that's a 45%.
Oh, man.
That's good.
That is good.
That's good.
I got a little upset this morning. I don't understand how you can be going through what you're going through, and yet the Democrats and Republicans, it's all about them coming into power, and we're not going to show up for your meeting. Oh, well, we're not going to show up for this. We're not going to. How about if we focus on the people that really need our help right now, and we'll worry about your politics later? What about that?
Nobody's listening. Nobody's listening to, and like I said yesterday, I said we're focusing, everyone's on the ground and
good
donations and helping people out. I'll tell you, politics are very, very minor discussion. I mean, I happen to be watching the news with Bill. That's the only reason we discuss Karen Bass. But I think what's been interesting in coming out of this, when we talk about national and local news ratings tripled over the last week. And I cannot tell you how crucial local news reporters, and Chris Egert, when I did his report last week when he was on WCCO, we talked about the importance of local reporting because the national news is giving you the highlights and barely telling you what is actually going, because they're not local to here.
Right.
Local reporters live here, they shop here, they raise their families here, so they understand the climate of Los Angeles, not only literally the climate, but also the atmosphere and what makes the heart beat here in Los Angeles. And I hope some of these local reporters really get their due, because some of them were reporting for days on end in really dangerous conditions. They were side by side with the firefighters, and it was incredible to watch.
You just gave me a great memory that I haven't thought of in years. I haven't thought of this, but just talking to you about this. When I was in 7th grade, our house burned to the ground. My mother and I were in it. I just talked about it last week, about that whole deal. My mother and I were at home alone because I was sick, and she was just, keeping everything afloat the best she could. Opened the door. The house burned literally to the ground. The house just blew up in flames, all the rest of it. And so I go to school after I was out of school for a while. Tyson family took me. It was really, really nice when I go to school. And this young man, might have been, Tevin's cousin, if you know what I'm saying. He comes up to me and says, "Hey, Tommy, I heard your house burned down." And I said, yeah, it did burn down. He goes, "God, that's terrible. Man, that must have cost you like $1,000. So he's taking a shot at the value of a house in North Minneapolis. 1,000? Well, it might be a little more than that, but, what are you going to do?
No one said anything.
I know. These two are like reading. What are you, Tevin and AJ, what the hell are you doing?
I'm just looking at the screen.
You were not. Yeah, you were reading something, and so was AJ. It's like, way to pay attention. Nice job.
All right.
Anyway, moving forward, I'm not going to pay attention to this now. Kristen, talk, and then I'm going to start. Oh, what's going on in Playboy magazine?
I can talk through it.
Playboy magazine. Look at these. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I know Tevin had a question about the Kardashians. I was listening to the segment before.
Oh yeah, I guess Yvette. I guess she was, as I was doing a little Google search on her, she's calling out the Kardashians because apparently they use, they're one of the biggest water wasters in LA. Is that something now that more people are kind of paying attention to, as far as the celebrities and what they're doing with the water?
Well, it's so interesting watching the Kardashians, because if we talked about them 5 years ago, people would be interested. I feel like in 2025, nobody cares, to be honest. And their monthly usage between just Khloe and Kim Kardashian, over 330,000 gallons per month.
God.
You might want to have the pool guy come out and check for leaks.
right? Like,
I
what
just
is
wonder if
going
they
on?
Get off the diuretics. I mean, how could you burn through that much
Do
water?
they just have like a giant fountain in their front yard, or like?
I'm sure they have fountains. They obviously have pools. I'm sure that they are watering their lawn every day, which you're not supposed to. We do have water restrictions on what days of the week you are allowed to water your lawn, especially in a drought. They're pretty strict on that, but clearly they're not going up to Calabasas going, hey. But it's interesting too, because Khloe Kardashian is someone who came out and spoke out against Karen Bass. And then on top of all of this, Kim Kardashian, like the day the Palisades went up in flames, she was like promoting her new Skims line. And you're like, these are not the times. Like, if you have a big launch of something, put it on pause at this time. It can wait a week. We don't need to hear about your underwear line right now. I know that like Chrissy Teigen, she paused the debut of her podcast because she's like, just not the time. This happened quite a bit. Meghan Markle is pausing her show, her new Netflix show, to March 4th because it's a very California-based show. And guess what? It's not the time.
Right.
So you have to kind of read the room, and the Kardashians don't have the ability to read the room. It's like they'll go, I'll go off and, go off on the mayor, but don't criticize my water usage. Don't criticize my underwear launch or anything else like that. And, Kim's big message or passion project has always been prison reform. And she's been asking the county to raise the hourly rate of the inmates who are fighting fires. It's $1 an hour that they get right now. They're trying to raise it to $5 an hour. And Danny Trejo came out today or yesterday, and he was like, no, Kim, this is not the time for politics, which is what I told you guys yesterday. He's like, right now it is about helping everybody out. He's like, those inmates are working toward restitution and getting their record expunged. They'll be fine because by the time this $5 comes into play, guess what? They'll never get it anyway. And so he's like, focus on the people that lost everything right now.
And with the prisoners that are helping like put out the fires, so they are like, do they get like time off their sentence for helping, or is this just okay?
They do. They get time off their sentence. They don't live in prison walls. They live in kind of a fire camp, full time even. So in off season, so if there's not a fire to be fought, they live at a fire camp where they do training exercises, or they'll assist the local fire department in case something comes up. They're not allowed to, though, and people need to understand this, they're not allowed to like hold a fire hose or anything else like that. They're doing a lot of the burn backs, which I think I talked about the other day. Our neighborhood, like up at the top of the ridge, they did the burn back on the vegetation on this side of the hill so that it wouldn't come down the hill. They'll do things like that. So they'll do some of the controlled burns and everything else. And they're not monitored the way other prisoners are. I mean, there are guards there, but if they are at a place where it is dangerous, the fire department is the ones who are watching them.
So why won't they let them use the hoses?
Unions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get into the union.
For Christ's sake. Really?
But some of them do eventually go on to a fire career. So that is sort of a part of the restitution.
The unions in California, I had to deal with them because of voiceover, because I used to have to fly to LA to do commercials, and this was back before the internet and all the rest of it. New York was great. Chicago was great. Los Angeles was a massive pain in the ass.
I suppose we can't hold your hose. It's tough.
But I mean, it's just a situation where I'm flying out there to do some commercials. Why are you bringing in an outsider? It's like, really? Because you're horseshit.
A lot. If you
It
go
does,
to any
yeah.
convention center, and oftentimes they won't let you touch a brochure. Like if you need to
No,
restock
they
your brochures, union guys have to do it for like
Yep.
$150 an hour. But that's, you know what? Those are great union jobs if you have one.
Well, I've been a union guy my whole life. Since I was a teenager, voiceover, you have to be in the union. They were great to me and all the rest of it. But there are some people who don't work a lot who really get pissed off at the union. It's like, it's somehow my fault and the union's fault that nobody ever hires you. It's not because you suck. It's our fault.
Well, now voiceover is primarily non-union, so
Yeah, that's what I understand.
it's a much different atmosphere.
I haven't
That
done it in
commercial
years.
strike in 2000 really killed the commercial arena for union actors.
That was the one I was talking about too, the 2000 one. It changed everything forever. Unfortunately, it's true. But I mean, I think it was much more fair when you went in and it took you like 5-6 minutes to cut a commercial and you got tens of thousands of dollars for it. It was much more fair that.
We all hate you. You know that. Right?
I didn't say it was me. I said somebody. That's all I said. That's all I have to say. But I mean, it was a great time. That's all I have to say.
It was a great gig.
It was back in the day. So I just been going through a lot of different. Looking for, I guess, Dan Aykroyd had a show I never even heard of before. It just popped up on my screen last night, and it had, what is the name of that show? It was in 2023 or 4. He had a show about, and of course it was all these mysteries, and they would go, these pirate ships would sink, and then they'd find out what the hell's the name of that show. It's really a good show, actually.
The Unbelievable with Dan Aykroyd.
I think that's right. I think you're right. Unbelievable. Is that a 2024 show?
2023.
2023. So that's definitely got to be it. He narrates it, but then other people, do this, that, and the other. There's some really good television out. That's the one thing about the internet that I do like, is that so many things are available now. I do not like what it did to the business and continues to do to the business.
Yeah.
That I don't care for.
I saw something really interesting last night. It was about 45 minutes long, and it's probably 15 years old, but it was Ricky Gervais interviewing Christopher Guest. And I knew Christopher Guest was funny. I had no idea he was funny. And in fact, Ricky Gervais says that Spinal Tap was the biggest influence on him and The Office. He says, I've watched that movie 30 times and it's brilliant. And it was really kind of cool to see those two and talk. And there are parts of it that are really funny. They showed some old Fred Willard clips and Catherine O'Hara. It was really wonderful.
Love him.
Fred Willard was my neighbor.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Oh,
just lived right over there.
I assume that he's just like the nicest person in the world. That can't be an act, is it?
No, it's not an act. He was so
Good.
sweet. And he was a big froyo. Like when the froyo craze came to play, I would see him at our Menchie's, our local Menchie's froyo place all the time. He would walk in and he'd be like getting all like the toppings. I was like, oh, I love this. It's something like so cute about him doing that. But I will tell you, Best in Show is my Christopher Guest movie. I can watch that over and over again.
Yeah, my Waiting for Guffman is right up there too.
Oh, that's good. That's a good
Corky
one, too.
St. Clair, the penis reduction surgery. It's like, and it was all ad-lib, and that's what they talked about. Like The Office, they had, Spinal Tap was a 15-page outline, and they just didn't write any jokes. They just made them up on the spot. And Chris Guest talked about how hard it was to act behind Fred Willard because he'd crack up all the time. And he goes, and if you watch the scene right here, I have to duck behind Harry Shearer because I'm just cracking up.
And nobody realizes how hard it is to make these films so brilliant. That's how skilled these actors are at improv. No, you can't just all of us, if we all went in, we're like, we're going to make a movie, we're going to improv. We're not going to make the next Best in Show or the next Waiting for Guffman. These people are geniuses at what they do.
Well, and he said this was interesting. They take, on average, about 25 weeks to shoot it, and then he would spend a year editing it.
God.
Anyway, it's kind of a cool look behind the curtain and a couple.
I love that. I love the behind
really
the scenes
talented
info.
Devin, you might know this. Who was the comedian / impersonator that we had on that told us a story about the day he met Christopher Walken in a restaurant? Were you on the show that day?
Craig Gass?
I think it is.
Craig Gass. That's exactly who it was. That is so great. Craig Gass. He gets talked into by Richard Belzer. Talked him into doing an impression of Christopher Guest to Christopher Guest while he's trying to
Christopher
eat.
Walken.
Christopher Walken, not Christopher Guest. I'm sorry, Christopher Walken. I said Christopher Guest. You're right. But that, it just made, anytime you bring up Christopher, that pops into my head because he does this, Craig Guest does this magnificent impression of Christopher Walken. And Christopher Walken he comes to an end. Christopher Walken's looking at his dinner plate. He looks up and he goes, wow.
Well, I'm sure everywhere he goes, everybody comes up with whatever crap Christopher Walken impersonation they've got.
Oh, yeah.
He was tired of it.
Oh, yeah. No question. All right. Any closing words, sister?
If anyone's a Hitchcock fan, there's a great
Love
special on tonight on TCM, Becoming Hitchcock, The Legacy of Blackmail. Gets into his early career and how he kind of like cemented his signature style with, of course, like murder, mystery, and of course his Hitchcock blondes.
God, I loved Alfred Hitchcock. He was a very odd man in real life.
He was a monster to work for, but
That's what I
he
hear,
was a
yeah.
genius when it comes to his film.
So he was that bad. He was really that bad.
Birds to Tippi Hedren's hair. What? They were tied by. That's how they shot those scenes. They didn't have CGI back in '52.
He was terrible to Tippi. Yeah, he was terrible.
What are you gonna do? All right, KB2. So you're hanging in there. It's getting better. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're at least, I think, if we can get to 6 p.m., get this high wind advisory off the map, and start working on recovery, that will be a really big help out here.
Is there any semi-accurate prediction of when this might come to an end?
I mean, this is going to be, honestly, the fires won't go out for another 4 to 6 weeks. So that is realistic. That is realistic. Because containment doesn't mean that the fire's out. It means that they have contained the spread of the fire.
Yes.
So, yeah, but we're used to this. I mean, like, we are used to wildfires. We're not used to this type of devastation. It doesn't usually reach the more urban areas the way it did this time. But we will persevere. I mean, people are hanging in there. I mean, it's tough to work through it too. I think that's the one thing. Everyone's trying to get back to normal, but what is normal? This is the new normal.
No question. Well, we keep thinking of you and praying for you and all the rest of it, sister. You'll get through it. You already got through the worst of it. Now you'll get through the rest of it.
I'm back home, so that's a good thing.
Indeed. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yes. See you then.
Thanks a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Bird, Entertainment News, brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Any closing words, fellas?
I got none.
Nope.
Apparently not.
It's warming up. It's going to be 25 today. Yay.
Yeah,
enjoy that sun.
What, so 30 below yesterday? You didn't care for that?
No, I don't.
I just starts mumbling. I like that. All right. 10
Minnesota.
10 minutes from now, family shows up. Have a good day.